So let's jump back to our shot. As we were saying, probably we're still, after working with the audio bits timing, we're missing something, right? So let's work on flow. Let's see how we can add some more breakdowns here and there, and get our final stage, or get our final pass of the key poses. Okay, so let's have a look to my final pass on key poses after we've done this pass, looking for flow and a good feeling. This is what we are trying to sell, right? So we have to end up with something that gives us a good feeling, or a good sense of everything is in a very good shape to be understood and to be enjoyed.
So, how to do impressions. I think the first thing to know is that it doesn't just start automatically. You can't just leap in there and do De Niro or walk in. So let's say I wanted to do an impression of Colin Firth. How do I begin? Well, the first thing I do is take Colin inside of me and sort of ease him in. And then once he's in there, and you begin to you're not even using your vocal cords. You'll notice that. We're not even going to get to that yet. But what you do is you just think of things that Colin Firth would. Well, how would he look around the room? I'll do it. I'll do it for you now. This is Colin. See what I mean?
Okay, talking a little bit further about what we've done and a couple of tips and tricks and just the ideas and workflow. Let's talk about a few things. The first pose is always very, very important overall if you are working on a studio. It may look ridiculous, but it's just because simply it's, let's say, is the thumbnail or is the tiny little image that is going to always be shown in, let's say, the browse of your studio. Or for example, if you are showing your shot and they're bringing it up, like I'm doing now, I'm bringing it up and it's staying in the very first pose, right? So this is really creating an impression in whoever you are showing or whoever is looking at the browser in your studio. So try always to get, even though it's only be there for one frame, it's even important, okay? And it's starting to create an impression and a feeling in whoever is seeing it. So if you start with a good looking pose, something that is really, really good looking, people is gonna be more, let's say, more friendly to you when it comes to showing notes. I've learned this like in after a lot of time, not really putting a lot of effort in the first post, thinking that it wasn't that important. What it actually is, it's creating some kind of, it's influencing the people who is going to give you notes somehow. So you better, take some time to get like a good, really, really good post for doing that. It's almost like a key post, I would say. This one, because it's just for myself, this is not going to any kind of show, and I'm not showing to any director. Could be better, I have to confess that could be better, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time with that one. But still, I wanted to mention that, please guys, give attention to the first pose that you are working on, and try to do it as good as you can. So other thing to do is that, as I mentioned before, you should retouch or improve all those golden poses that you see that could be better. I've been doing that with some of these poses, like for example, this one here, I wasn't very happy with how it was looking on the face. So before going and working with this idea of the leg and all that, I spent quite a lot of time trying to make this face looking in a more pleasant way and more appealing way. So it's important that if you're going through your shot and starting to add breakdowns and new key poses here and there, and you see that, let's say, the core pose that you are working with or you are about to work with, which is the golden pose, it still can be improved. Spend some time and try to make it better even before you start adding any more breakdowns, because otherwise at the end it's going to be more difficult to do so, or you're going to forget. It's going to stay there always in the back of your mind. So do that as soon as possible. So timing is getting more important now as I keep adding breakdowns and I keep trying my ideas here and there. I always play last every 10 seconds. Every time I try a new thing, I play last. I don't let it go, and it's like, oh, I'll review it later. No. Every time you pose, that was my fridge. You probably had noticed that. So every time you try a new pose, check the timing always, okay? And check the timing by doing playlasts. You can just focus in small areas like 20 frames, 30 frames, or 50 or more. But check everything every time you do like a new pose. Check the timing by creating playlists, because you need to know that your animation is working on the real time, or in the frames per second that you are working with. And check that it's actually working good and with the integration of what we hear and what we see, okay? That's part of the flow. That's part of getting that impression or of that the character is alive, right? So every step that we do is towards giving life to the character. So we add a new pose, we see how that works with the audio that we have, and if it's helping to create that kind of integration of unity, okay? And that comes from making sure that you are doing those changes of those new key poses in the exactly right frame. Like, for example, this thing here.
And you begin.
It's just 4 poses, but it's really giving not just the alive or the alive feeling. It's just giving the attitude. And you begin is like, it's giving like, I don't know how, that feeling of being intense and being passionate about what he is telling comes from that timing too. It comes from that precise change or posing in the precise frame that we have to do. That's why I believe that we can get good animation and very good quality of animation and attitude and expressivity even working on 12s. If you're just hitting what you have to hit and what you have to tell in the pose in the right frame, you can do it. So spend a lot of time playlasting, see if it's blending, see if the essence and the emotion and the attitude that you're trying to tell is just with those few poses. You can do it. As I was saying, part of the process also of adding flow is to stay open to the feedback that the shot is giving to us. Like staying open to what comes to us, to our mind or to inner vision when we're working on the shot in that same moment, right? That's part of staying in the present moment of creation, right? You just let your own creation to affect yourself. It's like your creation is creating inside of you, and that's the kind of relationship that we want to have with our animation. We animate something, we see how it looks, and that creates something in us, and it's like, oh, maybe then what if I try this? You probably have experienced those moments where by chance maybe you do like a movement or a change in a pose that when you play blast it looks cool and it looks nice, right? I'm pretty sure you experienced that. So that if you follow that and you let that happen more usually, that will take you to an amazing world of creativity, right? So we have to let that happen, right? Again, we have to find that balance on when is a good time to try those new ideas. If it's already to define, or if it's meant to define a lot the animation and adding a lot of breakdowns, maybe we want to break it down or to write it down and try it in the future. But if it's in the right time, if it's now for defining key poses, do it. So for example, as I was doing that, an idea that I have was about this one.
And sort of ease him in.
Right. That I was meaning to do this hand movement with the sound that we hear of the hands, but I wasn't quite satisfied, and for some reason I just got in this position as I was animating or something, and I really liked it. So I tried it, and I kept it there. So you have to stay open to those kind of changes, spontaneity, and spontaneity created by what you just created is part of the flow. It's part of receiving what you just have done and to convert it into something else, and that creates a lot of organic movement and organic ideas one after the other.